mix. Sports mix. Yeah. You in the mix. Rockin' with Kenny. When it comes to news, man, they got plenty. You in the sports mix with Kenny. News and knowledge. A lot of dope techniques make kids become scholars. You need to tune in. A lot of hot topics. When it comes to sports, Kenny sound like a prophet. You in the mix, man. You in the mix. Plus he keep you up on all the hottest trends. Plus you never know who he has as a guest. So grab a cold one, man, and just tune in. You in the mix, man. You in the mix. You in the mix. Sports mix. You in the mix. Rockin' with Kenny. When it comes to news, man, he got plenty. You in the mix, man. You in the mix. You in the mix. Sports mix. You in the mix. You rockin' with Kenny. When it comes to news, man, he got plenty.
Ooh-wee. Sports mix in the building.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Dino? What's going on, my brother?
Ain't too much up in here. How you feeling?
Oh man, you know how it is at the win.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we feeling
Talk
good
about
this week.
Yeah, talk about it.
Yeah, we feeling good this week. You know,
How was the wings this week?
delicious, delicious. Never had nothing better. You know, the beer was cold. I didn't even drink no beer this week, and it was cold.
And I still know it was cold.
Yeah, ice cold. You know,
Right? That's right.
babies was made.
Oh man.
People was proposing.
Yeah.
You know, people
Got
celebrating Christmas already.
children being born, name Lamar, you know, name Roquan.
Oh
Yeah.
man, oh
On.
man. Yeah, Roquan showed up.
Yes, he did.
Roquan showed up this week. It was good to see him too.
Big way.
Agent Zero.
Yes.
The brother was in the building.
He was all over the field.
Yeah. I was loving it.
Loving
I
that.
was loving it, man. You know, and I mean it was the Cleveland Browns. You know, I don't my expectation level with them is pretty low.
Yeah.
You know, Joe Flacco looked 40. You know,
Yes.
he looked 40. You know, I saw the kids there though. Did you see the Flacco kids?
They were there.
Yeah, they were there. You know, they were there up in the crowd. Then they showed. I saw some clips where they was on the field, I guess pregame.
Yeah, they say one of his sons was shot and say, "You gonna be the starting quarterback, Dad?"
Yeah. That's these kids. You know, that's the one gonna be wanting them to buy him a car in a couple of years.
Right.
You know? Gonna be looking for him to buy him a vehicle and all that old stuff. You know, but yeah. So Ravens get a big dub Sunday. You know, they would not go 0-17 for the season. I know there were some concerns after the loss to Buffalo. You know, they got another 40 points on the board this week. You know, so I don't doubt for nothing that they can score points.
Right.
You know, I'm not concerned about scoring points. The defense is my concern at this point. And you know, something you kind of mentioned last week. You made mention of was the kick a loop on the kickoffs, and he had two this week. One out of bounds and one not in the little kicking zone.
Exactly.
And they played for good field position for the receiving team.
Yeah.
And so that's in both games he's had some issues on kickoffs. You know, he made all his field goals and extra points Sunday.
Yeah.
So that was a good thing. But you know, that kickoff game, you know, and like, you know, we talk about it all the time, like, you know, it's a game of inches.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you can't in close games give up field position like that.
Yeah.
You know, in a spot where you're supposed to just kick the ball off. I mean, if all else failed, kick it through the end zone. You know, and yeah, I mean, it didn't hurt us this week, but you know, that's something to keep an eye out on. You know, and I am, you know, I'm aware that he is not Justin Tucker. You know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes we put this pressure on players to just to come in and just be what the last guy was, not realizing how special the last guy was. You know, uh, 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 what do you call it? Massage parlors aside, you know, he is not Justin Tucker. You know what I'm saying? So
And wonder how was Tucker during his rookie season when the Ravens went all the way, won the Super Bowl. I,
mhm.
I don't recall back then, but I don't recall. I know the rules have changed for the kicking and this part of, but I don't recall Justin Tucker being having issues during his rookie season either.
Nah,
He
nah,
seemed like
I don't recall these kind of issues.
yeah,
You know, and again, it haven't really come back to hurt us yet, but it's something with 15 more games to go. It's something that you're gonna keep your eye on because it's gonna rear its head in a crucial moment. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna rear its head in a crucial moment where field possession and all that stuff is gonna matter. And so I'm just hopeful that whatever it is he has to do to right this, you know. And again, it's probably. I mean, to me, it could be like
yeah,
something technique wise. But whatever it is, it's something that you gotta tighten up, especially as the season goes on. When we get to the colder months and you get into them windy conditions and all that stuff, kicking is gonna be a priority.
yeah.
You're gonna have to, muscle up, get the leg, and get the ball where it needs to go. So kicking the ball out of bounds on the kickoff, where the ball goes out to the 30 or 35-yard line, and then I think if it don't go into the receiving zone, it's the same, right? It goes out to the same like the 35-yard line.
Yeah, and I was just sitting here wondering what are the rules, I'm not really quite sure.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not a fan of,
yeah,
of this new kickoff. I mean, I get it. It's for the safety. It's for the safety of the players. But I just like. I mean, it haven't seemed to hurt the college players. They still kick off the same way, so it haven't seemed to hurt the college game any. Messing with the kickoff. But I mean, it didn't take away the element of surprise. Like you can't even do a surprise onside kick. You got to announce that
that
you're gonna try an onside kick. Like, come on, man.
receiving team will know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like come on, man. What
that's
what are we
right.
doing?
Strange.
You know. But man, the Saunders, what's up? For whatever reason, the comments not showing up here on the stage again. So
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know. I don't
yeah.
know what's going on with
And
this thing. This technology is a mofo. But Landon, what's up, brother?
yeah, what's going on?
You know. But yeah, so just you know, big win Sunday. We won't go 0-17 for the season. So, everybody that was down there at the Key Bridge last week, I hopefully family members talked them off the bridge and they made it to work Monday or Tuesday last week, and they got to enjoy this W against the Cleveland Browns, and I heard it was a celebration of sorts. They celebrated 30 years of the
Yeah,
Ravens.
yeah.
They brought back a lot of the older guys from what I heard pregame. Of course I saw they showed Ray Lewis and John Jo and you know uh Dennis Pitta was there. I saw him in a picture with
Okay,
Flacco. He had a picture of Flacco on his T-shirt. Did you see that?
okay. I didn't see that.
Yeah, Pitta had a T-shirt with Flacco that said, what did it say? Elite, and had a picture of Flacco.
Mm,
You know, so hey, Joe was elite. I guess he was to you. We kept throwing. Dennis Pitta was his favorite target.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Well,
know.
yes, to each his own. But it's one little window when he got elite.
Yeah.
He did it right. Huh?
Yeah, he didn't have long lasting eliteness.
No, he
You
got
know.
paid.
Yeah, he got paid now,
Yeah,
and I ain't mad at the brother for getting paid. Get your money.
give him credit for betting on himself.
Hey, I ain't mad at him.
Mad at him.
I ain't mad at him, man.
Like Joe, we ain't got nothing against Joe. You just tell
No,
him this, man. We like Joe, but he was not elite.
nah.
No.
Nah, he had an elite run.
Yeah, he had that
You know,
little
he
run.
had an elite run, but for the most part,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, he got us a chip.
Yeah.
He got us a chip. We ain't taking that from him.
Oh, not at all, man.
MVP.
Absolutely.
Balled out, no interceptions, 11 touchdowns, no interceptions during that run.
The run was amazing.
Yeah, Ray Lewis last ride.
Right.
Defense wasn't what it once was.
How crazy was that, man? Ray said, "This is my last ride, man. This is it." We like, damn. And they want that chip.
And there was a time, where I know this something me and you talked about back then. Just didn't see that ending. The Ray Lewis era, we just didn't think it was ever going to come to an end, man.
Exactly.
Because he played at such a high level for so long.
Long.
It's like, man, he going to have to get carted off the field.
Right.
He ain't going to go willingly.
Right.
He going to go. They're going to force him out of there.
Yeah.
Like, Ray, look, you can't play with one leg, man.
Exactly.
Your leg is literally hanging off your body, brother. You got to get off this football. I thought it was going to be something like that.
Ray, this is your 27th year. Time is up, Ray. Come on.
Yeah, let it go, buddy. Just like Aaron Rodgers up there. I mean, his game too. He said, it's just week 2. It's just week 2. But this is about the 3rd or 4th year of this type stuff, Aaron.
Yeah.
How much more pain you gonna inflict on your fans?
Right.
But hey, I'm not a Steelers fan. I'm pulling for them to lose the next 16. Yeah, I'm rooting for that.
Yeah, and I did see a highlight in that Steeler game where
I wish these comments. I wish I could put them up here. We talking about Ray Lewis leaving, and our resident comedian said, "Well, it happens." He said, "I had to leave Turner's, and Dean had to say goodbye to the Moon Man connection." So hey, you're right. It happens.
it happens, man.
Things come to an end.
Boy.
Yeah, it happens, man. It is what it is. It is what it is, man. But yeah, man. So Ravens get that big dub Sunday. It was much needed after the week before. Putting up 40 points and losing. 41-40. At the last second. That and having a 2-3 score lead for a good part of the game. It's tough to lose that one. Yeah. And so good to get a comeback win this week. Don't get no easier for them next week.
No.
Old Detroit Lions coming to town. And
Monday night.
I think it's Monday night. So prime time, the whole league gonna be watching. Big opportunity. I think last year I think I predicted them to be in the Super Bowl against each other.
Yeah.
Detroit and Baltimore, I did. So it's gonna be interesting, to see. But let's talk about the Cleveland game a little bit. Just some some things that I took note of. You know, uh, the defense showed up a little bit. And I think we made it. We made it pre-show. We talked about Roquan Smith had a huge game, and I think he was overdue for a game like that. You know, people whispering that he, kind of falling off. He might have lost a step. You know, he don't have that running mate in Queen like he had 2 years ago, and he haven't been as dynamic as he was when he first came here. But yeah, Roquan definitely. I know at the first half he had a couple big tackles for loss.
Yeah.
So he was in that backfield. He putting pressure on the quarterback a little bit, a couple times on blitzes. He's making some big solid hits.
Mm.
And Roquan, and on the fumble recovery, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
I didn't know he could move like that.
I was
I
surprised.
didn't know he was that fast, man.
He looked fast.
Yeah, they might need to put him in the backfield for a couple carries.
Yeah, I was a little surprised how quick he was moving to that end zone.
Yeah. I said, wait a minute. Hey, they ain't gonna catch him.
Right.
So Roquan got the good, got a little gallop in him. And I saw him on the post game. He said took it back to his days in high school when he was a running back.
Okay.
He
Okay.
said, he was a running back in high school. He say, he picked that ball up, took off, and looked up, and was nothing but daylight in front of him. So he said he went on ahead and put the Jets on it.
Yeah.
So man, yeah, big game from Roquan. What's my cornerback there from Clemson?
Yeah. Wiggins.
Wiggins got a pick.
Yeah. He took it back, right?
Did he take it all the way back?
Right. No, maybe he came up.
I think he came up short.
Maybe he's short a little bit. Okay.
I think he came up short.
Okay.
Yeah. But he got him a pick. Humphrey had a big hit.
Yeah.
Humphrey played solid. So I and my guy Hamilton, of course. Kyle Hamilton,
Yeah.
he was out there doing what he do.
Man, that would for sure.
So they got some pressure on the quarterback.
He did.
They got a little more pressure this week than they did last week. I still want to see more.
Absolutely.
From the front four. I want to see a little more pressure moving forward. But yeah, I was impressed. Couple of things happened in the game where with the I think it was a play where I think they got first down yardage and they marked it short. I'm kind of blanking on the play, but I thought Harbaugh should have challenged the call.
Yeah.
It was first half, still kind of close. I thought Harbaugh should have challenged it, and he didn't challenge. It didn't come back to bite us, of course, but it's those little things because Harbaugh, again, he's somebody that is not. He is not. He's not a very popular guy amongst the Raven faithful. I'm gonna just say that he is not popular amongst those who love the Ravens, right? And over the years in challenges, he seems to not win a lot of challenges, in my opinion. He seems to challenge sometime when he shouldn't. It's kind of
Right.
like, what was the point of that? And then there are times when you think he should challenge and he kind of keep the flag in his pocket. So, um, his head is clearly on the platter with respect to the fans here in the Charm City. John Harbaugh, his head is on the plate every week. I'm talking about it don't matter what he do, he should have did something different.
Right.
And I read the comments as as we watching the game, and I'm reading comments of people watching the game live, and boy, I'm telling you, they go play to play, second to second with this dude. If something ain't right, well, Harbaugh got to go. Harbaugh got to go. Harbaugh got to go. And I'm like, man, it's a 60-minute ball. I'm Ray Lewis. Now it's a 60-minute ball game. 60 minutes. You got to let the game play out. You know what I'm saying? You got to let the games play out sometime. And I know that sometimes the coach can he can make decisions that will, you know, send the game in the other direction. I get that, you know, but again, I don't get the indication that Harbaugh is in trouble from, you know, Steve Bisciotti and the Costa them boys. I don't think they worry about the head coaching job too much.
No, I agree.
You know. So what were some of the things you took away,
Yeah,
from the game Sunday?
much, I pretty much second everything you said. I mean, Roquan was a monster out there, and we hadn't seen that in quite some time.
Mhm.
You mentioned Queen. I think people might start to believe. We were saying Roquan made Queen better. Well, was it Queen making Roquan better?
Yeah.
That was starting to come into some people's minds, but he was all over that field, man. He
Yeah.
was a monster, man. Made you think about number 52.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think they made mention that his idol 52 was in the house, so maybe that helped him step his game up.
Hmm.
But yeah, I like Wiggins. Wiggins looked good out there with the pick. He made a couple of big hits. I mean,
Yeah.
made
Yeah.
some big. That small frame he got, that was pretty impressive. A couple of other folks. I think, of course, Lamar's making the throws to these guys, but I think Tylen Wallace has always been like a kind of unsung guy who always make the team. Don't get a whole lot of reps, but when he get in there, he do his thing.
Yeah.
He made some catches this week. Did he get a touchdown this week? I think
Wallace?
right.
No, I don't think Wallace did. It was the other guy.
I know, and then Des Walker, the other guy, was one
He
to talk.
got 2. Des Walker got 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Des Walker got 2.
and Des, man, is 3 catches.
All
Three,
touchdown.
that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
3 catches in your NFL career, and they all 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the rest of his career gonna be like, but man, to say that my first 3 catches on passes from Lamar Jackson, I've scored 3 touchdowns. I mean, has that ever even been done in NFL? Your first 3 catches are all touchdowns.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if that's ever been done.
Yeah, that's a hell of a stat right there.
Yeah.
He looked
Yeah.
fast. He looked fast.
Mm-hmm.
They say he fast, but he looked fast.
And who did he catch them passes from?
Right. Number 8, and speaking of number 8, Lamar Jackson he is the quarterback with the highest rating quarterback in NFL history right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say that.
Yeah, the highest rated quarterback in history. Lamar Jackson, number 8. Your Lamar Jackson, number 8.
The running back.
Yeah, the running back. The highest rated quarterback in front of Brady,
Yep.
higher than Aaron Rodgers,
Yep.
higher than Mahomes, Drew Brees, Joe Montana, Johnny Unitas. You just go down the list. Lamar Jackson is on top of the list.
And this is a guy that he was only going to last 3 years, 4 years tops. What's this year 8?
He should have been a receiver. Should have made him into a receiver.
Yeah.
Punts and stuff.
Yeah, he'd have been a hell of a punt returner.
Yeah. Exactly.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And again with him, the goalpost gonna keep moving. He got that record, but he still need to win. He need to do better in the playoffs. You don't get all that. You don't get all that foolish. People make coaching decisions from home, never been to a practice team meeting, talk to a player. That's facts. That's facts. Landon, my street rating may be better than Lamar's. You're right. You're probably right. Playing lamppost football, touch that lamppost to lamppost. Your numbers probably are through the roof. Playing in the street, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, just an overall good win. You know, um, again, it's always good to get a dub. After you have what you had the week before.
And D Hop. I don't want to forget
Oh
D.
yeah, don't forget D Hop.
Him.
'Cause he's another one. He shows up in that end zone. He should have had 2 touchdowns.
That too.
He should have had 2. Came a little short on the first one, but and none of them are easy catches.
Oh man.
He haven't made an easy catch yet.
Wrong, man. He
I mean,
wrong.
good defense. They playing tight D on him. You know, and I just read something today where they were saying where playing with Kansas City last year or so, they say people saying he was washed up.
Right.
You know, so but Landon said he was a ghetto league All American. Man, I need to send you a link. You need to come up on here and just tell some of your jokes live.
Right.
Man.
On the stage.
Come on the stage, Landon. Send me your email. Put some clothes on though. I know you probably lounging around and shit. We don't need to see that. But yeah, man. Good big dub.
Yeah.
Ravens, man, and again, like last week it was just a down. The energy was low. It was the start of the season. They started off really good with putting up 40 points. Offense looked really good. They had a lead on Buffalo and just wasn't able to hold it. And you hear people, well, the defense kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit and all the little stuff, man. Whatever the case, you got to finish that game out. Especially against Buffalo. A team that can put points on the board. A team that got a hell of a quarterback. You got to close them out. You got to get them out of there and have them looking at next week. But that so hopefully when we see Buffalo again, to be for all the marbles, to go to the Super Bowl, and we can send them home. There is some get back to be had because they've lost to Buffalo twice in the playoffs in the last few years, and then losing to them last week. So big dub, big dub. Talk about the kicking game, talk about the defensive play. From key players on the defense, they look solid. I definitely want to see more pressure on the quarterbacks moving forward. The game's not going to be easier. You got Detroit next week. You got Kansas City the following week, and then you got the Texans after that. I know they're saying Houston is struggling a little bit, but I'm just excited, because this is where you're gonna earn your money. This is where you're gonna know what kind of team you are.
Oh yeah.
You got these kind of games right out the gate. First 4 weeks of the season, and my measuring stick is usually what they do the first 4 weeks. I'm looking to see how they do, especially now that the players, the starters don't really play in the preseason no more. So you don't really get a chance to see them, tuning up against somebody else, working the kinks out. They working the kinks out kind of now. I know they practice during the preseason and all that stuff, but to actually get them game reps and get them game reps against somebody other than your own guys is always a good thing. And so, just the way the NFL is now, it's only 3 preseason games, and most teams are not playing their starters at all during the preseason. just to just protect them from injury and everything like that. So um, I'm excited. We got a big test coming up Monday night against the Detroit Lions. There's going to be a formidable opponent. They can put points up. They solid on defense. It
Mhm.
is a home game. Monday night, so I know that the atmosphere is going to be crazy. Fans going to be juiced up. I don't know what time you start tailgating on a Monday night.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do people call out of work and be down there tailgating doing like I don't know how that works.
I,
You
I,
know,
I don't know either. I guess I know they definitely call out on Tuesday.
yeah, yeah, for sure,
So
for sure.
I don't know how they work that, but like you had mentioned earlier, I think we might have been all off camera then that Detroit was so good last year that you had them uh going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
And a lot of people this year with that same thought that Detroit is going to represent the NFC and the Super Bowl, and
mhm.
they're that good. So this should be a real good game. You say 4 games. Well, they didn't gave you a hell of a 4 games to get. Uh, and
Yeah,
when it comes to Cleveland, I think that Cleveland has a dominant front four. Their defensive line, man, is strong, especially with that freak they got in there.
yeah,
And they dominated our O line. We know Derrick Henry didn't gain many yards at all. I 20 something yards maybe carrying the ball.
yeah. What much?
Wasn't much at all, man. And they really stuffed him up really good. And they was putting their pressure and on them. Rosengarten and Stanley and Linderbaum and them guys. Of course, the other 2 guys they were all having some issues in there. So the O line is still one of my biggest concerns on the Ravens. You
Hmm.
know, and then the other thing is being able to just get some pressure on the quarterback on the other side. Those are my 2 of my biggest concerns. And then the other thing you mentioned earlier was Luke and
Hmm.
consistency in 2 games. 2 games he's had issues in both games, and mentioning as you said that could be some problems coming down and it could hurt us. And in fact, I think it hurt us in the first game because that extra point he missed, could have tied that score. It could have been 41 up, and maybe it's overtime instead of them winning the game. So he's already hurt us. I didn't see, but again, the O line is my biggest concern. Now,
Hmm.
it didn't seem like a concern when we went against Buffalo, because I don't think Buffalo's defense is that good. I think Cleveland actually has better defense than Buffalo has,
Yeah,
and then when you look at the way Derrick Henry ran the ball, that made it look like our offensive line was showing enough that kind of offensive line. But
hmm,
but Cleveland shut them boys down and physically dominated the Ravens' offensive line. So that's a concern. I didn't see what's his name out on the field, Trent Simpson, um, throughout the game. That boy Buchanan was getting starting minutes and playing a lot. So I don't know if they've soured on Trent Simpson already. I saw him on special teams, but he didn't get that many plays. I'm curious to know how many plays he got. I did see him late in the game on the field for a couple.
hmm.
So maybe they done with him already. I don't know. And then I guess Jair being hurt
Yeah,
was another thing. He's hurt. Um, we was looking forward to him being out there, being a real good, strong part of this defense, and we haven't seen that yet. Um, but those were some of the takeaways. You know that might not be on the good side. The O line, Luke, uh, maybe Trent Simpson is done. Jair with those injuries is an issue too. So, but overall, I guess if you look at what we did against Cleveland as far as putting points on the board, Roquan ran one back, right? So
yeah,
say that 7 was by the defense, Uh,
Mhm.
even Wiggins, when he picked it, he took it down pretty close to the end zone.
Yeah.
So you might want to give 14 to basically 14 to the defense. And you take that 14 away. What did we score in the game? 40,
40.
40. So you looking now what around 26 points, if
Mhm.
my right.
Mhm.
Uh, so so I don't think that I think the offense was more dominant against Buffalo than against Cleveland, but the defense came in and chipped in with some points and took the ball down pretty close. So I'm a little bit I'm proud of the way Lamar and the offense was able to still score despite not having Derrick Henry, uh, having a big game.
Yeah.
He might have been his poorest game as a Raven.
He might be right.
Yeah.
He might be right. And I think a team like Cleveland, you know, they are a team that's gonna have to load up on defense, because they are offensively challenged and mainly at the quarterback position. I mean, it ain't like I said, it ain't no knock against Flacco. You know what I'm saying? But his best football is behind him. His best football is behind him. I don't know if you plug and play with one of the young quarterbacks at this point, especially this early in the season. You know, um, Again, I don't know if either of the two of them are ready to step in and lead a team. You know, I just don't know, and I don't want to stand there and say that, and then I don't want to, you know, 'cause, people know I'm a Shador Sanders fan, so I don't want to just say stick him in there, and he's not ready. I don't know whether he's ready or not, so I'm gonna leave that alone because I don't pay enough attention to what's going on in Cleveland, um, other than what I hear. So I think defensively they had to play the game they did against Derrick Henry. I think they were determined to not let him beat them. The way, especially the way he ran against Buffalo. And I don't know if it's a concern, but he put that thing on the floor again.
Yes.
He put that ball on the floor again, which is uncharacteristic of Derrick Henry. And
Yeah.
so I don't know if that's something to be concerned about. For the long haul. I hope not. I hope that that's not something that you know is a worry or concern. But it's definitely something that I got my eye on with him. Like I say, him having put the ball on the floor in back to back games now.
I think we got lucky, right? We recovered this
Yeah, we
one.
recovered this one. We recovered this one, but like I say, it's back to back weeks. You know what I'm saying? Back to back weeks, and he put that thing on the floor, and that's just something we cannot have. From especially from him because he gonna have the ball in his hands a lot.
Yeah.
And like just like last week, it was the timely fumble. It was the area of the field where he fumbled. You know, it just really turned the game, in my opinion. Not saying that that's why they lost the game, but that's kind of what turned the momentum
Yeah.
and really gave Buffalo that okay, we can win this. We can win this. And so yeah, I'm keep an eye on Derrick Henry as things to watch. That like I say, I don't know if is he not carrying the ball tight, high and tight like he should. Because it looked like they punched it out as he was going to the ground. So it looked like maybe he was trying to brace, put that arm down to get that cushion as he was falling. You know, it's just something that he gotta take he gotta be a little more careful with.
Yeah. He
You
better
know.
know they're gonna be coming at him.
Yeah, yeah. Especially now that he done fumbled in two straight games.
Games.
So it's
Yeah.
gonna be something that's gonna be in the scout report. You know what I mean? To look for him carrying the ball a certain way and
Yeah.
punch that thing up out of there.
Was it uh was it 2 years ago that Flacco took them to the playoffs? Was that 2 years ago or yeah,
Yeah, that
Cleveland.
was 2 years ago. Yep.
So
Yep.
see, I think Cleveland, they know they got a couple of young quarterbacks and they're looking at Joe Flacco and what he did a couple of years ago. They know they got a real solid defense. It could be an exceptional defense. And
Mm-hmm.
Joe Flacco, with his experience, and especially based on what he did a couple years ago, can maybe make a run for the playoffs with him in there. I would imagine that if they go 0-3, 1-5, or 2-6, or whatever, at a certain point in time, you go to one of the young quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I think right now it seems like they got the kid Gabriel ahead of Shador.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He threw
Drafted.
a touchdown.
Yeah, yes, he
Dylan Gabriel threw a touchdown.
threw a touchdown. So I think if Cleveland, you know, don't have a good record by game 5 or 6 or something like that, they'll make that switch and go to the young quarterback. I would. That's what I would do, and just go ahead and let that guy go ahead and learn on the fly. He got talent.
Yeah.
The door got talent. Did you hear that the Ravens will get ready to draft him?
I saw that. I
Yeah,
saw that. I saw that. And
and
he kind of said he didn't want to back up Lamar.
draft me. I don't
Yeah.
want up Lamar. I want to go somewhere where I got a shot to start.
Yeah.
So,
I saw
real.
that. I saw that. So with respect to Cleveland and Miles Garrett, who just signed a contract extension over the off season. I'm just looking at the thing here. It says, contract extension, trade potential revisited with the Browns. He clearly frustrated after the loss on Sunday. Um, if you Cleveland, like you say, if they get the game, I don't know when the trade deadline. I think the trade deadline in the NFL like week 8, something like that. I know it pushed back. Last year was the first year it was pushed back a little later. I'm thinking it's like week 8. If you Cleveland and the season is going in the opposite direction, do you part ways with Miles Garrett in the middle of the season, or do you wait till the off season?
Hmm. Yeah, that's a real good question. Uh, he is elite for sure.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think he probably read at least 2 of the series that Ravens had, or maybe more,
yeah,
just on his own. I mean, that's how good that guy is, and I mean, he will bring you a lot. I mean, if they trade him, he will bring them a lot. Um, but I don't know, man. That's really something to think about.
yeah. And
But
and the
how
thing to keep in mind,
yeah, and I was saying, I think how he feel about it will also come into play. Does he want to go play for, a contender or something like that? So, but yeah, that's a good question.
the thing to keep in mind is that these are the Cleveland Browns, and I don't know who running the football operations up there. I don't really know the ins and outs of the organization, but just from the outside looking in, they don't make really sound football decisions. You know what I'm saying? And a player of his caliber, again, if you do trade him, you gotta get a haul back. And I'm talking about like
Yeah,
Herschel Walker type deal. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? A deal that set the Cowboys up for the next 5 to 6 years,
yeah,
right? A player of his caliber, and there are teams that will line up to get him, because of who he is and the type of player he is. I was hopeful that he'd have been a free agent in off season and he'd have ended up down there in purple. You know what
that's,
I'm saying? Because you see him on that defensive line. That defense is different.
he would
You know
he
what
would
I'm saying?
he would look good, man, in purple.
Oh man. Oh man. You know. So I was dreaming. Of course dreams that don't always come true.
It's part of life. Dreaming is
Yeah,
part.
yeah. But I just don't think number one, I thought it was a mistake for him to re-sign with Cleveland.
Yeah,
Just based off of who they are. You know what I'm saying? And I know sometimes, man, like you said, he shows some loyalty to the city, some loyalty to the organization. But again, they are an organization, man, that haven't done much in the way. I mean, they had some decent seasons, decent, but just never, good enough. I mean, look how many quarterbacks have been starting quarterbacks since he been there? You
Well,
know, um, so it's always constant change. And that's not a recipe for winning. That's not a recipe for winning at all. You know what I'm saying? When you constantly changing out quarterbacks, coaches, they've had a few coaches over the last few years, you know, um, it's just not a good recipe, and I sometimes when I hear Ravens fans complaining, I say, yeah, I get it, because everybody want to win the Super Bowl. Like that's what everybody want to be the last man standing and celebrating and talking trash. I get all that. But at the end of the day, at the very end of the day, man, if your organization is always in the running, in spite of some of the things you dislike about them, sometimes just be happy with that. And I'm not saying settle. I'm not saying that, but it could be a lot worse. We
right.
we could be the Cleveland Browns. You know what I'm saying? We could be Cleveland. You know, and Baltimore people. This is a sore subject for me. So, and I'm sorry that I'm going to make this comparison, but you know, Dean, I know you. You a little bit older than me, and we both been Orioles fans for a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We both been Orioles fans for a long time, and it's been some lean years for Oriole fans man, compared to compared to how it was once upon a time. In our youth, you know, again, you know, in our youth, man, Baltimore was one of them teams.
Oh yeah.
The Orioles was one of them teams. So when we start going the other way, and all we had to hold on to was how it was.
He went heavy the other way.
you know, I envy. I envy them teams, man, that just always seem to figure it out. And so as a Ravens fan, sometimes I caution people: be careful what you ask for. Be careful what you ask for because there are no guarantees. You know what I'm saying? There are no guarantees in anything. I remember speaking of the Orioles. There was a big push early in the 2000s for Peter Angelos to sell the team, sell the team, sell the team. And I just kept saying, there's no guarantee that whoever he sell the team to is going to be what we need. It's just, it don't work like that. It just don't work that way. It got a lot of things got to go right for your organization to be,
Yeah.
considered. And it's more than just throwing a lot of money at it. And that's the thing I heard a lot with the Orioles over the years. Well, they don't spend the money. They don't spend money, but you gotta have a foundation. You gotta have a core of young players to build around and then spend some money. But if you're just going out there spending money, you just throwing money out there. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no guarantees you won't get no return on your money. Because you get a guy to get a big check, he might be content with just getting a big check and batting 200. You know,
And
so
some of them big market teams might can get away with that to a
yeah,
degree, but not the Orioles.
no, 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 no.
No.
And the Ravens not gonna play that game either.
No.
Because they never really have signed a free agent that wasn't a Ravens free agent to real big money.
Right.
They signed guys outside of the organization, and they may bring them in for a little change, but they don't bring them in for big money. Flacco, Lamar, Ray Lewis, maybe Ed Reed. Them guys got paid. And I don't even think Ed Reed got like record-breaking money.
He should have.
He should have, but I don't remember, him saying, when Ed Reed signed and they saying he's the highest paid safety in the history or the highest paid I didn't hear that kind of talk when they were signing Ed Reed. And maybe it was, but it
Maybe.
was slipping my mind.
I don't recall it either, though.
Yeah. But Ray Lewis for sure got
Yeah.
big money. Suggs got some good money,
Yeah.
And the Ravens tend to pay the guys they drafted. They don't tend to pay guys that come in as free agents like big money. They'll pay them nice money to get them here, but they're not going to break the bank to get them. And that's why
Roquan won.
Yeah. And he came in through trade, and I think he earned his.
Yeah, he earned it. Yeah.
He earned his,
And like a Marcus Peters.
Yeah. And Roquan is still young.
He is young.
Roquan, they say he's 28 years old.
He's still young.
To make me think, what was Chicago thinking?
Yeah,
Like to trade away him at that young of an age, because he been here. This is his third year here. So, I mean, he was like 25 when they traded him.
I don't know what they was thinking, but I do want to thank them. Thank you, Chicago.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Cause they had him and Khalil Mack at the same time.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And I was hopeful at that time that they would have traded for Mack, because he was the bigger name.
Yeah.
He was the bigger name at that time, and of course, he gets to the quarterback.
Right.
But hey, I am not mad at this.
No.
I knew Roquan was a good linebacker. I mean, I was doing like most fans do. I was chasing after the name. You know what I'm saying? And I'd have liked to have Khalil Mack, but hey,
he exceeded my expectations.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, man. So, Ravens got the big dub. Ain't a whole lot you can say when you get a big W like that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You get a good win, and like you say, the beer was colder, the wings taste a lot better. Your wife, if you're married, probably look like she did when she was 17.
Right.
Right. You reminiscing, and
yeah,
it's all good.
Absolutely.
It's all good, man.
Be surprised the difference that makes.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, it makes a hell of a difference.
If the Ravens won every week, there'd never be forces or domestic violence. Nothing.
Yeah, it would be just the greatest city on earth.
Right.
Full of love.
Honeymoon every Sunday, all through the week.
Yeah. So let me see. Let me see if I can pull up the scores.
Oh, and you know what? The thing I did want to mention,
Mm-hmm.
Give a shout out to the Ravens and Harbaugh and them for signing Jake Hummel. He did block a punt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they signed him. He was I think he was an All-Pro on the coverage team, special teamer.
Yeah.
Hummel. So he went and blocked the punt, and then they did sign another guy that was, I think, might have made the Pro Bowl as a special teamer. I can't call his name now, and I'm not sure if he played yet, but they picked him up. So I think the Ravens are looking at trying to cover every aspect of the game, and we've already gotten something out of this Jake Hummel dude by blocking that punt.
And I'm impressed with Wester as a punt returner.
Another aspect that they didn't. Yes.
He must taken one back by a shoestring.
Yes, last week. Oh, I mean,
that was Sunday.
That was Sunday. Yeah,
Sunday, man. Yeah. He missed it by a shoestring, because
yes,
if he'd got by that guy, it was just him and the punter.
The rat.
And I don't think the punter was gonna win that battle.
That boy fast.
Yeah, it's one of Dion's boys.
Yes, Colorado.
Got trained up by the best.
Right.
So let's go through the scores from week 2. Last night, Tampa Bay beat Houston 2019. Chargers beat the Raiders 20-9. Sunday, Buffalo beat the Jets 30-10. Detroit Detroit beat up on the Chicago Bears 52-21.
Oh man.
So Detroit coming in here
Mm,
after this putting up the 50 burger.
smoking.
So they coming in town hot. So we better be ready for that one. Baltimore beats Cleveland, as we've been talking about. Cincinnati got past Jacksonville, and they quarterback went down. Joe Burrow went down, and he out for an extended period of time. I know they put him on the IR today,
Right.
and you got to have the surgery on the toe. Is it the turf toe? Or is it the toe? Is it broke?
Yeah, I don't know the details, but I know. Yeah, I know it's somewhere down there in his toes or
Yeah,
foot. Gonna be out for 3-4 weeks or something. I don't
yeah.
know.
He
Unfortunately.
got so that's big for Cincinnati to lose him. Rams beat Tennessee 33-19. New England over Miami 33-27. Cowboys got a dub, beat the Giants 40-37. That was a high scoring affair there.
Wow.
Seattle over Pittsburgh 31-17. San Fran over New Orleans 26-21. Arizona over Carolina 27-22. Indianapolis Colts beat up on the Broncos 29-28.
That's
I
another.
think I think that was the last second field goal.
Wow.
And it was a missed field goal with a penalty,
Mm.
and they got a re-kick
He picking one.
and won the game.
Boy, you know.
So I did see the highlight of that. And Indy is 2-0 at this point. Philadelphia beat Kansas City 20-17. Kansas City is 0-2.
0-2.
Yep, 0-2. So I think that's the first time they've been 0-2 in a long time.
Out to San Diego the first week.
Yep. And they come here. Well, we go to them next week.
Right.
Week after next.
Man, they could
Um,
be in trouble.
Atlanta 22-6 over Minnesota, and Green Bay over Washington 27-18. So that's week 2 in the NFL. And again, 16 was it 15 more weeks. 17 weeks in the season now. So you got 15 more weeks of this. 15 more Sundays. The season is young, but we know, with each week, the 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 stakes get a little higher. You know what I'm saying? The stakes get a little higher each week with the football season, and wins are definitely come at a premium. And I'm one. I don't care how you win. I don't care if you win if you win 3-2, can't win 2-1. But if you win 3-2, you get a field goal and they had a safety. If you win the game, you win the game. I don't care how ugly it is. Get the dub. Because again, we will remind you. I know me and you will remind the people that in 2000 we went 5 games without scoring a touchdown.
All field goals.
So yeah, so we know about winning ugly. So just win the games. You know what I'm saying? You win the games, and you get to the dance, you got a shot. You know what I'm saying? All you do is get to the dance. So we playing for a spot in the dance.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So we playing for a spot in the dance. So again, wrapped up the NFL for the week 2. Uh, big weekend, big fight weekend last weekend out there in Vegas, man. Terrence Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. One of the biggest fights that we've had in the last few years. It lived up to all of the hype. Crawford kind of been calling Canelo for a minute when Canelo was riding high, and Crawford kind of like, yeah, I think I can get him. And you know, Crawford was a guy that generally fights at in the 154 range. Uh, Canelo had went up a couple weight classes. I think he was at cruiserweight, if I ain't mistaken.
Mhm.
So they had a catch weight at 168. you know, um, Crawford looked the part. Like we talked about in the pregame, man. Crawford looked the part, man. When they did the face off, he didn't look like he was smaller. He didn't look like he looked like he was ready for action. And if there's a complaint to be had, and I'm sure they're gonna hear a lot about it, the damn time the fight started. You know what I'm saying? you know, once upon a time,
Yeah.
we may have been outside somewhere watching the fight.
Right.
Not
Right.
no more. Not
Right.
no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like we
And
were. What was that? What was that? Where we? We out looking at Roy
that was Roy Jones. That's
Murdoch.
about there. What was it?
Some
What was it? It's Dave and Buster's now. I forgot what it used to be called back
yeah.
then.
Yeah. We were out there watching that fight, and we were good.
Yeah. Yeah, that was and good atmosphere and everything.
We had a good time out there.
Yeah, all except for the loss. you know, damn Roy, I wasn't expecting Roy to take that L like that.
Oh, that was unexpected.
But I mean, it was good energy. I mean, it was almost like we was at the fight.
Yeah, it was great, great, great time. Enjoyed
Yeah,
that.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But them days are behind us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was struggling. I
Yeah.
struggled to stay up.
I mean,
And I happened to wake up just in time for when the bell rung for the first round. So I got up and then I got myself together. I waited till about the second or third round and ran to the bathroom, kind of put some water on my face.
I should have did that.
Because I stayed in the bed. I
Yeah.
stayed in the bed and watched it. I didn't get out the bed. I stayed in bed and watched it, but I was able to sit through it. And I
Yeah.
was thoroughly impressed with Terrence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Um, I think it was a shutout. I think he beat the man pretty much every round. I'm sure Canelo scored. He won some rounds in there, and he didn't look bad. Canelo didn't look bad. He didn't look bad at all. It wasn't like he went in there and just got outclassed. He just got beat.
I beat.
He got beat,
Sound,
and
sound whipping too. It was
yeah,
sound.
yeah, yeah. And I think once Bud figured out that he could take that power, and that's the key in a boxing match,
Mm-hmm.
especially for somebody that's known to knock people out. Once the opponent has felt that power and is not affected by it, that's going to change the fight because he didn't took your best shot
Yes.
and it didn't affect him in the way that you usually seeing guys because man in a fight you can hit somebody and unbeknownst to everybody else in the arena that you had some effect on them when you hit them.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been a body blow, could have been a blow to the face or whatever. But before anybody else know that, all right, I got him that time. He felt that. And I'm sure there was a few times Canelo put something, landed a few punches. And he like, man, this he not, what I'm saying? He not affected by this. So again, he didn't look disheveled. He didn't look like he was kind of lost. You know how sometimes people get that lost look, like nothing I'm doing is working. But it looked like he was loading up. Looked like Canelo was trying to get the big shot because he wasn't throwing many combinations.
No.
He had a couple rounds where he had some flurries in there, but he wasn't really throwing combos. He looked like he was trying to find a spot to really, get a good land a good shot on Bud and get him out of there. And Bud he was active. He kept moving throughout the whole fight. You know what I'm saying? He stayed on his toes. He kind of he utilized the ring. So he had Canelo kind of chasing him a little bit, which can frustrate you. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that he's supposed to stand right in front of him and trade. That probably wouldn't have been smart neither. But he was able to utilize the speed advantage that he had. That he probably was in better shape. Just because Canelo been fighting, excuse me, at heavier weights. Having to lose that weight,
Yeah.
to get ready for the fight. That's never. I think that's always favors. That always favors the guy that's coming up in weight. The guy that's having to lose weight is always because it's taking something away from you. You know, and so I think that played into Bud's hand. You know, he was just the better fighter. He was the better fighter, and
168 weight class they fought at.
yeah, yep, yep, yep. So I just feel like it was an impressive victory for Bud, man, and Bud is 38. He's a little up there. Um, he's a boxer, man, that's been among boxing fans, amongst boxing fans and people who really love boxing. They know who he is. People know who Bud Crawford is, but it's the casual fan and corporate America that I think maybe really getting to know who he is at this stage in his career. You know, and I think that may be I won't say it's sad, but I think it's the toughest part of it. He's a guy that's always been this. He's been this guy pretty much throughout. And the knock on him was he wasn't fighting nobody. He was always fighting guys that people said weren't at his level, or whatever. The excuses people make. And what I think it is that he's just that much better than people. And sometimes when you got boxers, especially in boxing, when you are just that much better than your competition, it's hard to judge. It's really hard to judge. And I heard somebody say this recently about Larry Holmes, who during his run, I mean, he was the champion for like 7, 8 years, the heavyweight champ.
48-0.
Yeah, and you know, I know he came behind Ali, and it's tough to come behind that to win over the the casual fan, because Ali was such a dynamic personality.
And then
You know what I'm
it
saying?
out of Ali.
Yeah, yeah,
That
and, and that didn't help. That didn't help him at all.
at all.
But they were saying that he was just that much better than most of his competition. That some people that if you don't really understand that he's just that much better, you look at it and say, well, he's not really fighting nobody. You know what I'm saying? He's not fighting the caliber of the Ken Nortons,
Right.
the guys that Ali was beating up, the Fraziers, that type of thing. And it's sometimes it's unfair, that when you are that talented, you get that held against you because you're talented.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so in the case of Bud Crawford, that could be the case. That he just been that much better than a lot of the guys that he's fought. Because I, for one, just 2 years ago when he beat up Errol Spence, I did not for any. It was no amount of money that you could have told me he would have beat up Spence the way that he beat him up. I just didn't see that happening. And my level of respect for Crawford went up 100 notches that night. You know what I'm saying? I was like, he just different because he did it so easy. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't see him have any difficulty with Canelo at all. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see him have no difficulty with Canelo, man. He was doing what he wanted with him. He was throwing them combinations. He was hitting them. He was hitting them. You know what I'm saying? And he was getting good punches in. He was scoring. And again, he didn't look affected by Canelo's power at all. Wasn't affected by the atmosphere, because that can play a factor sometime in big fights. You get overwhelmed by the crowd and just the whole event, lead up to a big fight like that, and you get in there and get shell shocked. But now, Bud, man, he came ready to go. He's ready to roll, man.
Yeah,
I was definitely impressed with that.
he was totally impressive. I'm right there with you. Everything you said, he was totally impressive. Uh, like we talked offline a little bit. He looked big compared
Hmm.
to Canelo. They kept talking about Canelo is up in weight and cruiserweight and all these kind of things. But man, and his counter punching ability was impressive, man. I mean, and I think that made Canelo leery about even trying to put combinations together. This
Yeah.
guy was punching so well because he
Yep.
was moving so well and counter punching so well. I mean, he looked really impressive in this fight, man. That guy looked like a very, very good fighter. And again, you mentioned it. I mean, both of them are up their late 30s.
Hmm. Yep.
Crawford be 38, undefeated. Got some good names on his records that he done beat. It is a wonder why he is not, well known or hyped more than what he has been. But he was really impressive, man, against this guy, and Canelo wanted to beat him in the worst way. He
Yeah.
was hard.
Yep.
He wants his best shots, and Crawford looked good in this fight, man. He looked really good. Totally impressed with the guy. Uh, I would like to see him fight a little bit more often. Uh, but man, what a performance!
And that's the thing, at 38, how much more often is he going to fight? 'Cause he basically been fighting one fight a year for the last 4 or 5 years, from what I heard. You know, and so I think, like even with the Mayweather strategy, late in his career, he was fighting at least twice a year. Mayweather would usually fight around the first weekend of May, and then like usually sometime in the fall, September, Octoberish, and then he would kind of, just chill for the rest of the year. But a dude like Mayweather's always in the gym,
Yeah,
so he stayed in tip top condition at all times. And Bud Crawford seems to be that type of guy as well. He stays sharp. You know what I'm saying? Even with fighting once a year, his skills don't seem to have fallen off, not even a little bit. And his level of confidence, he fight with so much confidence. It's so impressive, to watch him work. He like a technician in there. You know what I'm saying? And again, man, it was just an awesome fight. I think it was good for boxing. The card. I heard that there was some good fights on the undercard. I didn't see the whole undercard. Matter of fact, I didn't see any of the undercard because I was watching football leading up to that, and then I took a nap before the fight started. You
okay.
know, but I just think, man, boxing needs more of that. Those big fights. Those big fights with the big names, the big draws. These guys got to start fighting each other. You know, Forget about. I know, man, with Floyd, man, and see, I ain't one of them type man that like to like say he ruined it. Floyd ruined it and all that stuff. I'm not gonna do that. But what Floyd did was Floyd understood. He figured out the business of boxing, similar to how LeBron James and them guys have figured out the business of basketball. So they figured out how to be in control. Where Floyd didn't have to be with Bob Arum or none of them guys. You know what I'm saying? He kind of charted his own path and created a buzz of his own. So he went from what they used to call him early on. He went from damn, what was his nickname early? Pretty
Who?
Boy. He went from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money May.
Yeah,
You
money make.
know, went
Yeah,
Money Mayweather.
yeah, right.
And once he figured out the business of boxing, and then Floyd was in a position late in his career where, he didn't have to take fights. You know what I'm saying? And people got on him about it. He cherry picked, boxers or whatever to get in. And it's like the Pacquiao fight happened 5 years later than it should have, and all that stuff.
Right.
And again, like, we wasn't in the room, so we don't really know what the business was, because both sides had blamed each other for that fight not happening. But I think what's happening with the fighters that's come behind Floyd is that I think a lot of them put more emphasis on that zero behind the W versus going out there and fighting the best fighters. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And really building your legacy that way. Because I think it's more respectable when, you got the Haglers and the Hearns and the Sugar Ray Leonards and Marvin Hagler and Roberto Duran. They all fighting each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I just think, man, number one, none of them came out of that unscathed. All of them guys took L's,
Yep.
and their legacies are still solid.
Absolutely.
They didn't lose anything legacy wise because they lost a fight. I think it made their legacies even bigger.
Sure.
Personally,
Sure.
because they all were top. They all were at the top of their game at the same time.
Right.
They all were fighting each other. While they were fighting other big names of that time as well. And again, like, I hate to just throw that we're a little older, so we were able to live through some of that,
Yeah.
and to compare it to what we see now. Boxing as a sport is not the boxing that we grew up on. And I'm not saying that the boxers are lesser boxers or they're not as talented, but the actual business of boxing is not fan friendly, if you will, because we're not getting the mega fights like we want. You know what I'm saying? We're not getting those big fights. And once upon a time in basketball, we used to think about, well, what happened if Magic and Michael Jordan played together? What would happen if and then we got to that where the big name players were
Right.
starting to team up with each other.
Yeah.
And I think while it was interesting, when we got the Dream Team, and that was like the first time we really got to see that collection of guys play together. And that's why it was called the Dream Team. Because prior to that, it was just something that was talked about. It wasn't something that we ever thought we would see.
Hmm.
And so the Dream Team, begat Dream Team 2, and then the league, it snowballed, and then the league grew and everything, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
But with boxing, I just think we need to see more of these big name guys getting it on, man. I just think that boxing needs that. Boxing needs that shot in the arm
Yeah.
at this point.
It's a skeleton of what it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
I even heard some people comparing this fight to Hagler Leonard.
Mm-mm.
And let me tell you, man, absolutely no comparison to
Nah.
Crawford with this guy to Hagler Leonard, man. I mean, absolutely no comparison whatsoever. And that lets you know how much of a skeleton that the sport is now when they have to throw stuff out there like that.
Mm-hmm.
When Hagler Leonard spoke for itself.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a huge fight in a time when fighting was that thing then. It's not right now. And I don't really know. I think you brought up a real good point, man, when you talked about Mayweather.
Mm-hmm.
And hand picking people and choosing, when to fight instead of having that promoter, make it happen. The Don Kings and the Bob Arams and them guys, man, and as much of uh, bad talk and flack that Don King get, he was absolutely instrumental in making boxing what it was back in the day. I
Yeah.
mean, he was a big time promoter. He put them fights on. He was there. Whether you loved him or hated him, the guy was very good at what he did. As a lot
Mhm.
of talk about him swindling folks out of money and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But man, when it came to putting them fights on, he was right there. There was these mega deals with HBO and Showtime, uh, and obviously the talent was there. You mentioned Holmes. Holmes was a tremendous fighter, man. Went 48-0
Mhm.
until he lost to Spinks. And
Thanks, yeah.
yeah, man. I mean, all them fighters you just named fighting each other, and it's a beautiful thing to be undefeated.
Yeah.
But I think that having a loss or two on your record and fighting anybody that came your way is more impressive than somebody that's undefeated that was handpicking people.
Yeah. For sure. For
I
sure.
true fan that the guy who lost a fight or two is more impressive. So I don't know. Boxing gonna have to do something. I think this fight was a good deal. I think it went well. I think the uh, the fact the venue Netflix. I think that worked out really well. Having it on Netflix, man, and I think those kind of things because back in the day, man, there would be some real good fights on Wide World of Sports
Yeah. 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 I remember that.
TV, man, some real good fights, and the fight game been big for a very long time, man, and it was consistent, man. When you go back to Jack Johnson and bring it all the way up, man, through the Joe Lewises and the Sugar Ray Robinsons and Rocky Marcianos and all them guys coming through, man. I mean, it was a top flight Sonny Liston and Patterson and all them guys, man. Of course, through Ali and
Mhm.
up through Mike Tyson, and man, that was like the biggest thing out there. When a Mike Tyson fight or a Roy Jones fight or a Sugar Ray Leonard,
Mhm.
Hagler, man, the sport was popping, and it is just a skeleton of itself right now.
Yeah. Yep. And I like you say, I think having that event on Netflix was a good deal.
Yeah,
Most people have Netflix at this point. Netflix is almost like better than cable. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know too many people that don't have it. And if they don't have it, they sharing it with somebody else.
really.
So most people have Netflix in the home or on the phones or wherever.
Yeah,
And so for them to get into the live sports arena, and they've done a couple other ones. I know the Mike Tyson fight a couple years ago might have been the first one. Tyson and Jake Paul
okay.
might have been the first joint on Netflix, and it was expedition.
Yeah, yeah. I never even saw that fight.
Yeah, I watched it, and it was they had some kinks with some stalling with the feed.
Yeah,
So I think they had that to kind of work the kinks out of how to do live stuff because Netflix is a streaming service, and so when they got to work the kinks out, and this one looked like it went through without any major issues. I didn't see any issues when I was watching.
did Jake Paul fight Floyd before? Who did
I think
he
I
fight?
think the brother,
Oh,
I
he
think
fought.
the brother, I think his brother fought Floyd in some kind of expedition. I think.
And to me, man, I think those things kind of hurt. I don't know. I don't really like. I mean, they fight and they hype it up like it's real.
Yeah, yeah,
I think that takes away from the sport. I don't know what kind of impact that UFC has had on boxing. I mean, that came into a little bit of some prominence there. But I like the fact that Netflix thing. I think that Netflix thing went over really well. And it ain't hurt that Angel's fine ass came in there to see Bud.
I saw that.
Yeah, I
I
was on
saw
that.
that.
All
Huh?
three of her.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw Angel coming in there,
see you, Angel.
looking like she looking.
Hell yeah. Mhm.
You know,
Baltimore's finest.
Baltimore finest. You know, Baltimore man. And I guess it's gonna be interesting because Tank's supposed to be fighting Jake Paul in some exhibition,
Yeah.
which I don't get that. I don't get that at all. You know, I don't really know what's going on with Tank at this point.
Uh,
You know, he had a subpar showing in the last fight against Roach.
yeah.
Ended up in a draw. You know, they were supposed to have a rematch. I know he got in some trouble a little while ago. He got arrested. So I don't know if that got an effect on with the fight or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to fight Jake Paul in the exhibition, which again I don't even get the point of that. That Jake Paul is almost a heavyweight,
Right.
and Tank Davis is a natural
Low,
lightweight.
yeah, low guy. Yeah, natural. Yeah.
He's a natural lightweight, so
Yep.
I don't understand that. Jake Paul is somebody, man, that is a YouTube guy. You know, his fame is he has YouTube following, and that's how he really built his name up on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah.
And somehow he believes that he's a contender and like the face of boxing because he's able to um, have these big viewing and
Mm.
you know what I'm saying, he's able to generate a lot of money for fights. But he's a prime example of somebody that's he's handpicking these people he's fighting. He fought Mike Tyson that's 58 years old. You know what I'm saying? And it was clear that Tyson wasn't really
Man.
Tyson didn't really fight the kid like he could have at 58.
Right.
Tyson had some opportunities to clean his clock and he didn't take them. So, you say what you want about that fight, but then he's fighting football players, he's fighting basketball players, he's fighting old MMA guys. He hadn't fought a legit boxer yet,
Right.
somebody that's in their prime yet. You know what I'm saying? So, um, I don't take him seriously at all. I'm not in the Jake Paul uh fan club, not even a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I think he's really more for entertainment purposes
And
and
that's
and really like WWE really.
right.
Stay in your lane. If
And,
and I ain't mad at you for making money. I
and
ain't mad at that. You get your money.
and I think the boxing world, man, cannot be letting that kind of stuff come into their game.
Mm-mm.
And is a
Mm-mm.
serious sport. It has been serious, man, for decades, man. You go way back, this thing was serious, man. Joe Louis and these guys, when they step in that ring, man, this was some serious, serious stuff. And you bringing some YouTube guys in, man.
Yeah,
They get headlines and shit, man.
yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy, man. That stuff destroys the integrity of the sport. It waters it down, man. You can't
Yeah,
have stuff going on. Keep this thing serious, man. Smoking Joe was serious.
yeah,
Ken Norton was serious, man.
yeah,
These listener was trying to knock your head off. Then you bringing damn YouTube guy,
yeah. That's,
and
that's
that's
almost
talk, and that's the
that's
talk now.
that's like and one guy trying to get in the league.
Right? I mean, that's that shit they doing now. Letting Bronny in the league. Hell, man, come on. What the hell, man? Cannot be doing this kind of stuff, man.
No.
You got to keep your sport serious, keep the integrity of the sport, and it'll be there, and the fans will buy into it.
Yeah,
This with this Jake Paul and his brother and all that stuff, man, is a joke, man.
yeah.
And it waters the sport down, and I think it has a lot to do with the skeleton form that the sport is taking right now.
Hmm.
Boxing is serious, man. Boxing's so serious, man. Tyson was biting people's ears off. He's serious, man. I mean, they have what was the guy coming down in the parachute?
Yeah,
And
Yeah, I remember watching that one. I
they
remember watching that fight live.
they whipped his butt for on the ring like that. Man, these guys don't mess around back in the
Nah,
this stuff down, man. Come on, man. We gotta do better.
yeah, yeah. So like you say, the event, they put on a great boxing event over the weekend. With highlighted with a big fight. You know what I'm saying? And it turned out right. It turned out well.
Yeah.
And boxing really, man. I mean, if boxing really should be putting on events like that once a quarter.
Sure.
4 times a year, we should have a big time boxing event like this. You know what I'm saying? And again, the heavyweight division used to be the anchor
Mm-hmm.
in boxing, and I just don't think they got a heavyweight champion that generates that kind of excitement
Not
in the
now.
sport. And I'm not saying these guys aren't good fighters. I'm not saying that, but they don't have the type of cachet
No.
that generates that excitement. They not. And I wasn't a big Lennox Lewis fan, but Lennox Lewis could bring people out.
He bring them out, man.
He bring them out.
He could
Evander
fight.
Holyfield could bring them out.
They could fight. These guys could fight.
Tyson, brought them out. Riddick Bowe
Yeah.
brought them out. And I'm talking about this just going back to the 90s. I ain't even went back, to the 80s and the 70s, man. I'm talking about this in the 90s, man.
Exactly.
And these guys at the heavyweight division brought people out. And really, I think really Riddick Bowe had a short run. He had a short run, but I think I just said his name. Damn, Lennox Lewis
Yeah.
probably was the last one, the last big draw heavyweight that had a little run. He probably was the last one. Because since him, you had the Klitschko boys. That was, they were okay. They had short runs,
Yeah.
short
That
runs with the Klitschko's.
era, that little era you talking about now was probably the last heavyweight era that drew folks.
Yeah,
I don't know anybody after them.
nah, because like Anthony Joshua,
Yeah.
he was supposed to be that,
He
and
won
he ended up getting clean. He got this clock cleaned out.
in that. Yeah.
What's the
What's
big
the
brother? Big
boy?
brother from Arkansas.
What's,
Uh,
what's the boy that fought the one black dude that could hit real hard, but the white boy from he might have been from England. Um, God dang man.
Tyson Fury.
Fury.
Tyson Fury.
Boy, he was fighting.
Yeah. I'm looking right at his face.
Yeah.
I
I said
can't think his name because he was at the fight Saturday.
he was
They
at the
showed
fight.
him in. They showed him at the crowd. They showed him in
Okay.
the crowd. They put the camera on him.
Yeah. They drew a little bit. They drew some folks a little
Yeah.
bit. But they gotta keep that thing going, man. They gotta keep it going. And I think they're failing to keep it going. But I really believe that this fight though on Netflix, I think it was a huge turnout. I think a lot
Mhm.
of people watched. It was a real good fight. Canelo was trying to kill his boy, but this boy was just too good. Bud was too good. It was an excellent fight. I think they're going to, if they can stick with that venue, I think this is a chance to jumpstart this boxing, man. That Netflix venue was strong. I think that's working out good.
And I saw Dana White. Dana White was in the audience. I don't know what he's got going on with boxing, but I think they saying he's trying to get into some promotion.
Okay.
So
Okay.
he's with the MMA stuff.
Yeah.
So if he can get his hands again, he gonna draw the people. And the thing that somebody like him, I think the thing that he's good at with MMA is he's good at getting those mega stars in the ring together. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if it's about getting that money
Yeah.
getting the money to get these guys to get in the ring, or like I said, I think a lot of guys are scared to take that first L. You know, but I'm looking at the thing. It said 41 million viewers
Okay.
according to Netflix for the Canelo Crawford fight.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's huge. That's huge. 41 million. Um,
I don't think they would have got 41 million if they'd have, did that pay-per-view type thing.
no indeed, no indeed. They sold out a football stadium,
Yeah.
Allegiant Stadium, where the Raiders play in Las Vegas. They sold that out.
And that's along with the 41 million on.
Yeah. So I'm trying to see. I don't see what the capacity was. I see that it was sold out, but they don't say how many people was actually in the arena. But that's big.
I think
That's
so.
big for boxing. And again, I think boxing is at the point where the powers that be gotta get together and look to bring these type of events together at least 3 or 4 times a year. You should have something in the top of the year, in the middle of the year, this time of year, the fall, in the summer into the fall, and something to close the year out.
Yeah.
So you got to have 4 big fights, 4 big purses a year. I think. I think for the sport of boxing, because it's just going through that little ebb and flow, and they were flowing downward for a long time. But this type of thing here, this event that they had this over the weekend is something that could bring the flow back. Really put the spotlight back on boxing where it needs to be. You know, so I'm looking forward, to boxing. I'm always been a boxing fan since I was a young fella. So I remember kind of watching. My early memories are, my first recollection. I remember Ali fighting against Leon Spinks.
Yeah.
I guess I was about 7 years old when they fought the first time, and I remember the shock on a lot of people that Ali lost. And then I remember watching the rematch. I remember Sugar Ray Leonard and Wilfred Benitez. I remember that one.
Yeah.
Like like, and I was young, but I remember that one. That's kind of one of the first ones I've seen. And Sugar Ray Leonard was a name I heard just because I was the kid that watched the sports channel all the time, or watched I stayed up to watch the sports on
Right.
11 o'clock news. So I remember, them talking about Sugar Ray Leonard fighting at the Civic Center down there
Yeah.
in Baltimore. He cut quite a few of his early matches down here in Baltimore.
Yes.
Um, but I remember the Benitez fight is one of the ones that I remember early on. I remember watching Larry Holmes and Ernie Shavers, and for some reason, I feel like I watched it on a Friday night. I remember they used to have Friday night fights. I don't know if it was live or they just showed it that on a Friday night, but I remember watching, you know, and so a lot of those, like you said, the wild world of sports used to have a lot of good boxing on.
Sports spectacular.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so as a kid, that was my entertainment. You know what I'm saying? When I could sit in there and watch a Friday night fights.
Yeah.
And it wasn't every Friday, but I just remember it was when they did come on, it was something to watch. You know what I mean? It was good stuff. Like you say, and this is on regular TV. This ain't even cable we talking about. This is regular channel 11, 13 type stuff. You know, um, like you say, Wild World of Sports every Saturday. You know, so boxing is something that's kind of ingrained, man. It's just they gotta fight. They gotta find their way. as a sport as a whole.
Who
They
did
got
they,
to find their way.
who did they have announcing the game, the fight?
I know Max Kellerman was on there.
Element. Yeah.
Used to be on ESPN. Used to be on HBO Boxing.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know who the other guy was.
Yeah.
And who was the boxer that was on there? Man, it was a boxer that was on there that lost to Crawford.
Okay.
Man, I can't think his name.
And I think, and also, that's part of the whole aura, the whole boxing game, man, is even the announcers, man. The Howard Cosell's and
Mhm.
like that announcing those fights, and even the referees that was in there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mills Lane.
Yeah, Mills Lane up in there. He was colorful, man. He had that thing going on. I think they did have the ring man come in there and say his little thing before the fight, right? Was that the same dude?
Michael
He
Buffer.
ready to rumble?
Michael Buffer. Yep.
Like Michael Buffer was there. I mean, all of that stuff, man, was really good. And the way they laid out these fights, and they had a lot of footage of them before the fight, and the build up was excellent. Them promoters knew exactly how to build these fights up, um, and I think they can get back to it. I don't think it's not lost. They can get back to it, and
Hmm.
I like that Netflix venue. I think that was a good way to go, and
Yeah. Yeah.
build the crowd back up.
Yep. No doubt. No doubt. Well, wrap this one up. You know, um, Ravens get the dub this week. So, the mood in the city is definitely more cheerful. I'm expecting, a lot of weddings the end of the year. Might be some people down the courthouse yesterday.
Yeah,
Let's just go ahead and do it, baby. Let's go ahead and do it. We
yeah,
up right now.
yeah. They probably had on Lamar jerseys getting married.
Yeah. That ain't that something?
Right, right.
Lamar Jackson jerseys as the wedding dresses and all that stuff. You
Yeah.
know. So yeah, it's always good when Ravens get a W. City is a little more excitable. You know. Uh, I think I got an extra wing or two in my box today.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I think yeah, they're a little heavy-handed
Yeah.
when Ravens win. When they lose, you might come up short on a 10-piece.
Right. Damn.
Hey, wait a minute, it's only 8 in this thing.
Only 8 in here. Well, you just trust them. You don't even know until you pull off and get where you're going. Bye.
Yeah, so
Days you got to check, man, your bag before you pull off.
yeah, you're right.
Service, man, is going to hell. What happened to customer service, man?
Oh man, that shit went out just like Big Mama. Ain't no more Big Mamas around neither.
Damn. I
You
mean,
know?
for real, man. I mean, for real. When you go through it, you don't give a damn. I mean, they don't care.
Nah, they don't.
I mean, and Lord, man, if you get some a Happy Meal, some nuggets for the kids or something, man, you better check to see if they put that sauce in there.
Right.
Man, it's ridiculous to me. And chicken nuggets ain't. I mean, you might as well throw them out the window if you ain't got the sauce.
Right.
And they ain't even worth eating.
Nah.
What happened to service, man? I don't know. I'm disappointed, man, in customer service.
Yeah.
Anybody out there who has the gift of customer service, you can be successful in this world because it's a dying thing, and you're gonna stick out.
Yep.
Because you naturally, customer service oriented, and I think it's just a dying thing, man. I don't know.
Yeah. People definitely don't care.
They don't care, man.
They definitely don't care no more. And like you say, it's just not something. I mean, like I said, Big Mama's not even around no more.
More.
Who cooks Sunday dinner now?
Hey, oh,
Everybody else somewhere eating.
out or you ordering it?
Order hip hop. You know, get 30, get a 30 piece so we can watch the game. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, definitely times have changed, man.
It's,
You
it's,
know, you like you say, you go to McDonald's, and you know, I guess, man, because McDonald's again. I don't keep talking about our age. We all older guys, but like I was telling, McDonald's was a treat.
oh yeah.
You know, at once upon a time, my grandmother would say, "Man, listen, it's food in the house."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You go to McDonald's, man, like maybe once a month, if that, maybe
That.
once every couple months.
Yep. Yeah. And
You
that
know what
thing
I'm
was
saying?
a treat.
Yeah, it was a treat to go to McDonald's. You be excited.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You remember Eddie Murphy with the ice cream dance? You know, ice cream.
McDonald's.
You know, Mama make you better burger better than McDonald's. Better than McDonald's.
Better than McDonald's. Has onions up in there and all this.
This ain't no McDonald's. This ain't nothing but a house burger.
Yeah, it's a different world. No, it's a different world, and we do have to adjust, and we don't really want to sound like some old kids that's complaining about the young world,
Yeah,
but I do think that customer service thing, man, is I mean, man, it's just dying.
yeah. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough because like you say, you go even at the supermarket.
Right,
They just look like they just not interested.
interested,
You
man.
know,
Right,
I don't want to really be. I'm gonna just go ahead and ring you up.
yeah,
You know, now I mean, you can't. Now you gotta pay for bags at the store,
yeah.
and you know, it's just different. Everything is just different now.
I was shocked. I went I went around the corner, man, to go to a what is it, a Aldi's
Hmm.
market, and you had to put a quarter to get the card. I'm like, what?
Hey, who carry change these days?
Dang. And then you get the quarter back when you turn it back in or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, man, who the hell can do
Unreal,
that? Man,
unreal.
I
I'm
don't
I'm I'm the guy now.
I don't know.
I don't care how many items I got. I'm going through the checkout where somebody gonna ring me out.
Right. Me
I'm
too.
not going through the self serve. I don't
Self-service.
work here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait. I'll wait in line behind somebody that got 2 carts full of shit.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm gonna wait. I'm
Yep.
like, man, listen, I'm not ringing this stuff up, man.
Right. That ain't my job.
Nah, nah, nope. I'm gonna sit in line like everybody else.
But I did.
I ain't in no rush. Yeah, but that's just
That's what it was happening today. You know, I know I've been around a while, and I
Mhm.
in the 1960s, in the 1940s, in the 1860s. I don't care what time frame, 2000, 1990, today, that 60 minutes is still an hour, no matter what era you in.
Yep.
But I swear, man, the 60 minutes today go a whole hell of a lot faster. I know it's the same. I know it's the same. I know the minute changed. I know 60 of them will make an hour. But man, I swear it's like these hours today are going a lot faster.
Hmm.
So much more is happening now within that hour.
Yeah.
Technology got a lot to do with that.
Yep.
I mean, you can just look at a simple example like having the computer and being able to type a letter on Word, a Word
Hmm.
compared to somebody in a typewriter. making a mistake and have to put some white out on the letter and you know, and you got to type and then you got to run copies and all that stuff. I mean, so
Uh,
expectation now is that you should be doing 20 times more work than what you was doing back in the
right,
day.
right.
Technology is the time is still 60 minutes is still an hour, but technology, the expectation is that you got to get so much more done within that hour.
Mhm.
So it means that so much more is happening within that hour, which makes the time appear as if it's moving faster.
Yeah, yeah.
Thing. So technology got a lot to do with everything going on. And when you start to get up in age a little bit, you know, the dealing with change is not quite as easy.
Mm-mm.
People in their habits and they like doing things and they don't want to, you know, it's some people out here, man, that don't that still got their VCR.
Yeah, I ain't one of them.
I ain't one of them. And they tell if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
God damn,
yeah,
this might be working great, but if they with a DVD player or you can just pull it up on YouTube, why the hell you dealing with a VCR?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I definitely ain't holding on to that one.
No, that VCR, man, was some crack, man. And, yeah, it's some,
but in this day,
it was the thing.
it was a thing to have.
Yeah, man. I
You
remember
know.
what's his name, man. Shout out to Goo Smith. Goo was one of the first ones, man, that had a VCR, man.
Yeah.
And he's ahead of movies, man, and he's ahead of popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
Go around that crib, watch the movies, man. That was like the best thing in the world. It was fresh. It was
Yeah.
yeah, that was some good stuff, man. The VCR.
I remember. I remember this back. I was in high school, and my girlfriend at the time. We went to visit her aunt. She had a nice crib out there in Harford County, and they had one of them goddamn projection screen TVs.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. I mean, the screen was huge. You know what I'm saying? But you see the little projector in the back.
yes.
You know what I'm saying?
That was top flight back then.
Yeah, that was big stuff back then, man. And I remember we was watching the Bullets. The Bullets was playing that day we was over there. You know, I'm tripping off the size of the screen. Damn, it's all right. You
Yeah,
know, it's all right. But you see something like that now, man. If you get that big ass TV,
exactly.
man, when the last time you seen a big back TV?
Man, them things fast.
Man, yeah, we came a long way. I'm gonna just say
Yeah,
that. You
yeah,
know, technology,
yeah,
and then like you say, everything you can find it somewhere. You know, the need to have a DVD or a VCR these days they pretty much useless.
yeah.
Matter of fact, they like artifacts right now. You might well start a museum. You
Yeah.
know, because you can find whatever you want. It's streaming. Some streaming service got it.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
you
and,
what was
and
the big video store when you go get you order? I mean, you go and pay for them at the store. What was
oh, Blockbuster,
Blockbuster?
Blockbusters, yeah,
Man, them things they died out. You know,
yeah.
dying out. The 8-track
Oh,
cassette, that CD. I mean, them things come and they go.
yeah. I still got a whole big. I got a couple. I got a big bag. Listen. I got a Charlie Rudo bag full of cassette tapes.
See that? Charlie Rudo. See that?
Charlie Rudo.
Right.
That's telling my age for sure.
Right. You're listening. Might not know who Charlie
They
Rudo.
right know what the hell Charlie Rudo is.
Yeah.
But I got a Charlie Rudo bag full of cassette tapes, and it's got some good stuff in there.
Yeah.
You know, some classics.
Right.
You know, I mean, I still got all my albums, records. You know what I'm saying, from when I was DJing and stuff. I'm looking at my turntables right now. They right over there in the corner.
Right. I know.
You know?
Just like Michael Jordan still, Jordan car got a ball in the trunk. Your turntable still right there.
Yeah.
No,
Mm-hmm.
just never know.
Man. Well, you know, we like I always say, we probably could do this all night,
Yeah.
you know. But we'll save some for next Tuesday after and they play Monday night next week.
Good night. That's right.
So it's a Monday night game. You know, I'm expecting, the expectations is for everybody to be in a good mood Tuesday morning,
Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
and not too many people calling out of work Tuesday, and
No.
the tone of the show will be at a high pitch.
Yeah.
After a big Ravens win,
Right. Right.
Monday night against the Detroit Lions.
I mean, if you even go back and look at last week's Sports Mix show compared
Hmm.
to this week, I mean, it's a huge difference. It's a difference in the spirit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
natural. We were hurt last week.
Yeah.
We were hurt.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it definitely was some pain.
it was pain and we couldn't hide it.
You can definitely,
Yeah, how
because
much
in,
makeup we put
in the
on,
way we lost.
y'all could see that we were hurt. We were hurt. And it was to the Buffalo Bills. And it was to Josh Allen.
Oh man.
We were hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely some pain last week.
A lot of pain, man. But we gonna travel that journey. Like Kenny says, 15 more. We gonna travel that journey, and y'all gonna see when we hurt.
Yeah.
Y'all
Yeah.
gonna, y'all gonna see it. Y'all gonna see when we are happy.
Mm-hmm.
We flowing right with the season. We flowing right with the emotions of the crowd. And then the chicken that you eating, it tastes good. It's gonna taste good for us. We going with the flow. So we gonna let y'all know how we feel because we can't even hide it if we wanted to.
No. At all.
At all.
At all.
Right.
So, I I wish, I don't know what's going on with the comments. I can see the face on Facebook, I can see the comments, but they're not coming up on my screen. I don't know what that's about. I know last week Facebook was having some issues. I got a message before we went live that Facebook was having some technical difficulties. I didn't get one this week, so I don't know if it was an issue or not. But
Yeah.
I had to figure it out, see what's up with the comments, so we can get the comments, be a little more interactive with the people watching.
That's a big part of the podcast.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And definitely want to get out in the community a little bit more. Find a spot where I might can, do a live show from a location, kind of really, get up close with some folks
Mhm.
and really get interactive and have some fun with it. So that's down the pike. But we'll be here next week, next Tuesday after a Ravens win, of course. And that's it. That's all I got.
Hey.
That's all I got, man. I don't want to overstay my welcome.
Yeah. There's work in the morning.
Yeah, there's definitely that.
All that.
Definitely that.
Ain't spring chickens. We can't hang like we used to, and all that. Get up. Yeah. So I'm with you.
Yep. So, all right, my brother.
Yes, sir.
On out of here. Look, we go out of here with some of this. All right, man. We out.
Be out.
Peace.